The recipe writer's natural enemy is the recipe reader, constantly revealing their ineptitude with feedback like, "This carrot cake recipe stinks. I subbed the carrots for kale and it was awful." The recipe reader's natural enemy is the recipe writer, always lying about how easy a dish is with little tricks like cramming 15 steps into the part of the recipe labeled Step 1. The most contentious issue in this never-ending cat and mouse tug of war regards how much text a recipe should have. Some people think a recipe ought to be a robust pastiche of instructions, tips, and alternatives that should all be considered when preparing a dish, while others feel as though the recipe, the part that matters, is nothing more than just the list of ingredients and the requisite steps. Recipe writers, and generally people who are good at cooking, understand that proper cooking involves more than just following steps. It can require dexterity, intuition, patience, time management. It's a skill that you develop. But people who are bad at cooking, especially the ones smack dab in the middle of a steep Dunning-Kruger curve, insist, actually it's very simple. You just read what the recipe says and then do that. Like this TikToker who insists cooking's actually really easy.
I'll literally never get is when people are like, "I can't cook." Like, what does that mean? Literally, what do you mean by that? Like, what does someone mean when they say that? If someone walked up to me and was like, "Make a chicken casserole," I couldn't just make a chicken casserole, but if they gave me a recipe, I could make a chicken casserole. Like, is it not just following a set of really fucking basic directions? Like, I don't get it.
I could use that source material as a jumping off point for a sermon about learner empathy or a petty monologue along the lines of, "Excuse me, miss, you are eating a grilled cheese and canned soup," but I shall instead call attention to the fact that I'm currently doing the thing that viewers hate. I just gave you all of that setup, all of that context for this video's conceit, instead of immediately answering the question, why are recipes written like that? Here's the cynical answer. Longer content with lots of keywords ranks higher in search results. Longer content with lots of stuff to read through keeps viewers on the page for a bigger chunk of time. Longer content provides more places to stick ads. Longer content with lots of personal stories helps facilitate the parasocial sentiment that's crucial for building trust and loyalty. But there are also noble, virtuous reasons to add information to a recipe outside of just the steps. And as the premier source for straight-to-the-point food media, I want to show my super specific audience, you lovers of short, direct instruction, that the other side isn't all full of bad guys. First, if you've ever seen David try to fold in the cheese, you know that following instructions isn't always straightforward, but more importantly, all recipes, all of them, need to be presented with some sense of context. Titles and thumbnails provide a little bit of context. Easiest Pancakes Ever tells you that while they might not constitute a Michelin-star dish, the pancakes that you make by following these instructions will come together with very little effort. If instead you followed the ultimate pancake recipe, it's probably going to be high effort with precise measurements and advanced techniques. Both of these titles provide some context, mostly about the amount of effort that can be expected. But I know I would never make a YouTube video all about my own personal pancake approach, specifically because of how highly contextual that dish is for me. I don't have toddlers demanding pancakes every morning, so I don't make them very frequently. That means I always combine the dry ingredients each time. Someone who makes them more often might batch prep 5 pounds of DIY dry mix, so they're always 5 minutes away from flapjack cookery, but not I. Also, I always use buttermilk. My grocery store sells buttermilk in massive bottles, meaning any time that I need a quarter cup for some other dish, I make pancakes that weekend. It's my favorite way to use up an extra 2.5 leftover cups. If I did make a pancake video, I'd add ancillary tips I've learned over time, like keep your batter cold while you work, as well as personal points of view, like I think 2 ultra-wide pancakes are a lot more enjoyable than a 5-count short stack of small ones, or God forbid, 10 silver dollars. I want my flapjacks floppy. I would want viewers to understand why I'm making certain choices, and I'd also delight in like-minded viewers validating me with comments like, "Based floppy flapper lover, he's just like me for real." Alas, such a vid'll never reach your screens. I know where the battle lines are currently being drawn in this reader versus writer war. It's a reader's market. The people I wish to serve want how-to, not how I. And there is a meaningful difference. When I shared a video about how to make marinara sauce, I shared the most basic version, plus a few suggestions on how to improve. Imagine if I shared the best marinara sauce I've ever made and viewers watched with excitement, only to find out that mine uses this obscure fish sauce imbued with Okinawan black sugar. You simply must acquire this ingredient for the umami depth and subtle yet complex sweetness. How annoying and elitist if you hate that kind of media. But you can grow to see the value in it, and millions of people are out there sharing how and why they do stuff in their obscure, specific way. So if you're willing to accept all the requisite context that comes with sharing personal stories and recipes, you might learn more than you expected. Hey, if not, even the misanthropic among you can find delight in this benefit of excess recipe detritus. It gives the author more opportunities to raise red flags. If you're reading a recipe where the author gushes about how me and hubby just got back from Hawaii and I could not bring ourselves to say aloha, the goodbye kind, to a tasty purple treat called poi, and today I'm going to show you the easiest way to make it at home, might be one that doesn't come from a place of authority. I'll never forget the time that I saw a recipe for carne adobada years ago where the recipe said something like, your dried chilies should be freshly dried and thus flexible, like raisins. And just in case yours are stale, this recipe calls for raisins. What on earth? Surely that would add a lot of sweetness to a savory dish, right? If you can't see the positive value in the wall of text that accompanies a recipe, let it at least be seen as the long proverbial rope with which the author can hang themselves. I guess the reason why I'm talking about all of this is that while yes, millions of recipe pages would be significantly more usable with fewer ads, less obnoxious filler, and a total absence of trickery like a jump to recipe button that actually takes you to an ad with a continue to content button underneath that, we, as recipe consumers, should be careful of overcorrection. Here's a food video with zero filler. The host tells you to thinly slice potatoes on a mandolin, wash the slices in cold water, then microwave them for 5 minutes. After that, you've got no mess, oil-free potato chips. Pretty cool. But some mission-critical info got cut out in the editing bay. Some people complain that their chips are sticking to the plate. No worries, just use a sheet of parchment. That wasn't explicitly stated in the video, but if you pause it right here, you can see that there is parchment on the plate. Some people are having trouble with the chips cooking really unevenly, so the creator is in the comments providing follow-up support. That's really nice, by the way. She could have just dipped out and let everyone fend for themselves. I'm compelled to bring explicit attention to this because I want you to know it can go too far. I've been to the other side. I've posted a simple reel of me cooking eggs and gotten the comment about, wait, what kind of pan was that? And was that water that you put in the pan before putting the lid on? Is that to steam the eggs or was that oil? I can't act like every single recipe developer is willing and able to prioritize information density like I am. But then again, y'all can't act like every recipe follower knows the difference between 1 cup chopped spinach and 1 cup spinach, chopped. For better or for worse, this war between writers and recipes is waged and won by the wills of the average. It's sort of like when YouTube watchers complain about annoying calls to action a la, hey guys, please like and subscribe and ring the bell, even though it's consistently proven to be an effective way to get more likes and more subscribers. You might not want to admit how many average Joes like it, want it, or need it. The vegetarians like when I take a minute to mention that a meat dish can be made with meat-free alternatives. The noobs need me to remind them that a knife can chop food when they feel hopeless for not owning the food processor I used in a video. I think you already know in your heart of hearts that a recipe is more than just the measurements and the steps, and that supplemental information holds meaningful value. With that, I'll leave each segment of my audience with some homework. For the beginners who struggle with following recipes, still confounded by that chopped spinach example from earlier, watch Lan Lam's 10-minute lesson on how to follow a recipe. For those who make instructional media, here's another hour of me yapping about my approach to instructional design on YouTube. And for the viewers who got bored hoping for a more exciting topic and footage of food, look at this levitating hot dog cooker. Whoa, it's levitating and it's cooking. Wow! Real quick, at the end of this video, I wanted to let you know that Barkley just restocked. Barkley is my brand of local ceramics made here in Tempe, Arizona, and we've been sold out of everyone's favorite stuff since November. It takes a long time to make pottery, but as of right now, just about nothing is sold out. That also includes the non-ceramic, regular schmegular degular manufactured stuff like these linen chambray napkins that sold out within their first week of debut, and this insulated flatbread warmer that everybody loves so much. Thank you for rocking with my little side business. Take a look at dinnerwithbarkley.com and see if there's anything that you might want to pick up before anything else sells out again.